Raiders, Colts. The playoff hopes of two teams hang in the balance. And Lincoln Kennedy talks about what the team is doing to help business in Southern Nevada. Our fast takes and smart coverage coming up now on Vegas Nation Game Day.
This is Vegas Nation Game Day. Brought to you by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
It's back to familiar territory for the Raiders. They return to Allegiant Stadium for a 3-game home stretch that starts today against the Indianapolis Colts. Happy Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Review Journal sports reporter Sam Gordon, and joining us this morning via Skype is our own Cassie Soto.
Sam, good morning. Well, it wasn't very pretty last week, but the Raiders were able to get back in the win column to get that win over the still winless New York Jets. Sam, now they have the daunting task of hosting Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts.
And we're glad you've joined us, whether it's on Cox Your View, Facebook, YouTube, or VegasNation.com. Our team will get you ready for this matchup of playoff contenders.
That's right. And with that, let's go ahead and get to some storylines. First, Sam, we have to talk about that Derek Carr touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs III to help the Raiders secure that last-second victory over the Jets.
Cassie, can you imagine where the Raiders would be or how they'd be feeling right now had they not executed what for them is the play of their season, right? The Jets choose to bring 8 pass rushers despite a situation where all they have to do is prevent the touchdown. And what do Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs do? They step up, they connect on a 46-yard touchdown pass in the final seconds. They hang on for a 31-28 win, like you said, over the winless New York Jets. That would have been a very, very bad loss at that time of the season, but that's neither here nor there, right? Because they won. They are 7-5, and that sets up the matchup today against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, that's right. Well, next up for the Raiders are those 8-4 Indianapolis Colts, who are led by a quarterback, Sam, who knows a thing or two about the silver and black.
That's right, Cassie. That would be Phillip Rivers. He is going to make his 29th start against the Raiders today. That's an NFL record for most starts against the Raiders. He already has records, for passing yards, passing touchdowns against the Raiders. He's familiar with them. They're familiar with him. I think it's going to be a little bit of a chess match there this afternoon with Rivers and then Raiders defensive coordinator Paul Guenther about what they're going to do. A lot of familiarity there, that should make for a good matchup.
Are we going to get some good trash talking?
I think a little. I think a little bit. Phillip Rivers is fiery. He's known to bark a little bit. I think we're going to see some of that.
Well, our third storyline, Sam, the Raiders will be without 2 key members of its secondary this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right, Cassie. That would be Jeff Heath, the safety who was placed on injured reserve with a concussion, and then, of course, Damon Arnett, who's also battling head and neck injuries. That means probably a lot of LaMarcus Joyner at safety, and then some Nevin Lawson at corner as well. I think we're going to see some Keyshawn Nixon, Isaiah Johnson. It's not exactly what the Raiders want at this time of the season, right? There's so many injuries, but it is a war of attrition. That's what the NFL is, and it's next man up. That's the mentality the Raiders have been operating with all year long, and they're going to operate with that again today. So should be interesting to see if Phillip Rivers can exploit those injuries in the secondary. We will see.
Well, today's matchup should be a good one, Sam, because both of these teams are in the middle of the playoff chase, and the Raiders know they have to step up their game to stay in it. Here's what head coach John Gruden said on that and some other topics this week.
I think everybody needs to have a sense of urgency, in the NFL, or you get your block knocked off. We have to, we got to play better in all phases. We got to coach better. We got to be ready. There's a lot of chips on the table. It's a hard job right now, Jerry. We don't practice much like we used to, and we have a lot of players that miss practice. So you have to use your imagination. You have to trust your instincts and your hunch. Mariota's got a lot of playing experience, and he's played against the Colts, having been a Titan. He has some familiarity with them, and I don't like to think about anything ever happening to our quarterback, but Marcus is finally healthy. He's proven that on the practice field the last 10 days, and hopefully that's good things to come for him because I think he's a hell of a quarterback. Yeah, it always helps to have your feature back in action. I mean, they don't make a lot of guys like Josh Jacobs, so hopefully he's ready to go, and if he is, we'll make sure we hand him the ball. But he's a great back, And normally a great back makes great things happen, and that's what we need from our go-to guy.
Kickoff is at 1:05 this afternoon, so you still have time to set your betting strategy for today. Review Journal sports betting reporter Todd Dewey is happy to help you do that. He joins us now from the Mirage Sportsbook. Todd, what is happening with today's betting line?
Happy NFL Sunday, Sam. Well, the Colts open as 2.5-point favorites in this one, and now the line's up to 3 around town with a couple 2.5 still out there. Las Vegas sportsbooks were rooting against the Raiders the last 2 weeks and won big as Las Vegas was whipped at Atlanta and won but didn't cover in last week's dramatic win at the Jets. But they're going to be big Raiders fans today as bettors are all over the Colts in this one by a 10-1 money margin here at the BetMGM Sportsbook at the Mirage. Sharp bettors are split on this game around town as South Point and Circa reported taking sharp bets on the Colts -2.5 and sharp bets on the Raiders +3. The total is at 52.5 after opening at 50.5. It's 52 here at BetMGM. There's been sharp money on the under, but the masses are going to be on the over, and for good reason. Las Vegas Raiders home games at Allegiant Stadium have averaged more than 58 points this season, and the Raiders have been one of the best over teams in the league at 8-3-2. The Colts went over in 6 of 7 games before going under in last week's win at Houston, where Deshaun Watson fumbled at the 2 in the final minutes. That would have pushed the game over the total. A couple of pro sports bettors I spoke with are siding with the Colts in this one. Indy has won 3 straight road games, and this is their 7th straight game where the line has been 3 points or less. They've won and covered 4 of those 6 games. Hope all your wagers are winners. Back to you, Sam.
Todd, thanks so much. Remember, you can log on to reviewjournal.com to read Todd's recap as well as Jim Barnes' Bad Beats blog. Still to come on Vegas Nation Game Day, we will flip the field with Ed Graney. But first, we have this trivia question for you.
NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. Which NFL record does former Colts quarterback Peyton Manning currently hold? Is it A, games played, B, league MVPs, C, passing yards, or D, touchdown passes?
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
When you look at the drop passes, that's concentration. It's not talent.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Bang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Field Pass is sponsored by Scenic Brewing Company, your neighborhood brewery and sports bar.
And with this week's Field Pass, as well as a special guest, here's Heidi Fang.
Thank you, team. It's Heidi Fang here with your Field Pass, and I'm going to get you caught up on everything that's happening with the Pro Bowl in 2021. Now, originally, the Pro Bowl was expected to take place here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, but in October, it was canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. So, for the first time ever in the Pro Bowl's history, we'll be looking at an entirely virtual event. The event will take place on Madden NFL 2021. That's right, Madden NFL 2021 will host the 51st Pro Bowl. EA Sports and the NFL have decided to hold a week-long event that will feature celebrities, personalities, players, and more on this virtual platform. And the players that are selected will be able to play with their own player on the Madden platform. Originally, the Pro Bowl was expected to take place on January 31st, 2021, which is typical, as normally we see the Pro Bowl happen the week leading up to the Super Bowl. But this time around, because of the virtual setting and because of COVID-19, we don't know right now if the NFL will have to host an 18th week. If there is an 18th week, the Pro Bowl will have to have a different date set than January 31st. And of course, that 18th week will only happen if makeup games are necessary for teams that have players that are suffering from COVID and are unable to play. Fans can still go over to vote for their favorite players on NFL.com and do that before December 17th to get your vote in for your favorite player. And since Las Vegas lost the Pro Bowl, they will be able to host the event coming in 2022. That is the plan as of right now. Now, as the Raiders look to open up their gates to all of you fans out there that are dying to get a peek at this stadium, they are going out into the community and doing everything that they can during these hard times to give back. Right now, the Raiders are hosting a program for local nonprofit organizations. All are encouraged to apply with the Raiders Foundation. You just head over to raiders.com/grants. And to talk about that with me is former offensive tackle and current Raiders announcer, Lincoln Kennedy.
It's such a trying time that businesses that are able to stay open are trying to give back to businesses that are struggling to stay open. And that's a big thing. The Raiders, since they made the announcement the Raiders were coming to Vegas, Heidi, they've tried to do everything they could to instill themselves in the community, to be a part of the community and keep the community up and vibrant. And I think this is a continuation of that. There's only small things that you can do in such a trying time. But the Raiders have gone out with their alumni, with all their various charities and donations to try to help make a difference. So they're trying to do their part to keep the people of Nevada, and especially the people of Las Vegas, up and well, and to know that they support them wholly.
I want to get your vision right now, the playoff picture, lots of key opponents down the road. How important is every single game right now when you talk about the Browns being 9-3 and where the Colts are and the Miami Dolphins are?
I came into the season saying that I thought the Raiders were 10-6, 9-17. I still kind of hold true to that. I think that's where they are. I do think they're a playoff caliber team. However, this next month is what we in the industry use the term must win. It's must win for these Raiders for a number of facts. Though I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, I think they can challenge teams in the playoffs when they're up to par. The fact is that they don't have to go, well, they have the last game in Denver, which can be a cold weather game. The fact they don't have to go further east is promising to them. The most critical games that are going to be coming up are against the Dolphins and the Colts. And that's going to put them in a place where they can kind of better themselves as far as controlling their destiny. And the reason why I say that is because, there's still a remote chance that they can win the division. Remote chance. But more importantly, they need to have the tiebreakers against those two teams that I mentioned, the Dolphins and the Colts, so they don't have to go, be on the road as much. These next couple games are critical.
Thanks, Heidi. Now let's get some insight on the Colts from someone who covers them as we flip the field with our own Ed Graney.
Thanks, team. That's right. He's flipped the field. And to learn more about the Colts, let's bring in Mike Chappell of Fox 59 CBS 4 Sports. Mike, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. How are you guys doing?
Very well. Thank you. Well, listen, first, can you update us on the Colts offensive line, specifically at tackle, and how it might change, if at all, things for one of the team's obvious strengths? What's going on at tackle?
Well, Anthony Costanzo sprained his right knee 2 games ago against Tennessee, missed the last game at Houston. He's back at practice today, probably limited, which is encouraging, though. So if he's ready to go, he starts, and he makes the world of difference at left tackle. This offense is not the same when you lose your left tackle. And on top of that, they lose the backup, Raven Clark, to a torn Achilles last week. So if Costanzo can't play, they're down to the third string, Chaz Green. But I think Costanzo's got a chance to play.
I want to ask you about Phillip Rivers. You know, what was the response in Indy and with the fans when it was first learned he might come? And now, look, he's got him at 8-4. They're tied for first. What's the response now? Was it positive to begin with? And how has that grown over the years as they've watched Phillip Rivers lead this team?
It was positive because we didn't know what plan B was. It wasn't going to be Jacoby Brissett. They made it clear they wanted an upgrade. And Rivers made sense with his history with Frank Reich. And I think the expectations are what they have planned out. Keep in mind that they brought Rivers in to be sort of not a game manager at all, but to have a top 5 running game supporting him. And that's not been the case this year. The running game's not gotten going. They've had to lean more on Rivers than maybe they anticipated, but he's held up his share. Has had a couple of bumps in the road as most quarterbacks do, but the last 7 games, 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, has played winning football. And this is with the last 2 games with the turf toe that it leaves him not practicing on Wednesdays. He's wearing a boot. He was limited today, and he'll practice tomorrow, and he'll play on Sunday. So of all their issues, he's not one of them. He's really fulfilled expectations.
Finally, like I said, 8-4 and tied for first in the South. Give me one area that could really make a difference in these guys finishing this out with a playoff berth.
Get the running game going, because they still want to be a team that can rely. I'm not talking 200 yards a game, but 140 some. Get Jonathan Taylor going, get T.Y. Hilton going offensively. But they want this to be not smash mouth, but a team that can run the ball when they want to run it. And maybe they get it going now with Jonathan Taylor. If they get the running game going, this is the playoff team.
Well, there you have it. It's Flip the Field with the Indianapolis Colts. Now let's check in with Leandre Fox and see what's happening across social media.
This social media update is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable.
Good morning, Raider Nation. It's time for another social media hit. And hey, Derek Carr, that guy has a sneaky sense of humor. You wouldn't expect him to be up to date with all the memes and trends of today's social media because he's so locked in on football. But there are times when he posts and lets you know that he's just like you and I, on the phone and scrolling. And after last week's win against the Jets, he posted a picture of his last throw with the caption, "Ruggs down there somewhere." Now, there's usually a quick phrase in front of that, and I appreciate not having to censor it. And just like Darren Waller last week, the Raiders gave Carr his own Pro Bowl mixtape titled Sleeve Season, which sounds like slime season, shout out to Young Thug. Hunter Renfrow got one too, titled Clutch, and we can expect to see more of these as voting continues. Now, Raider Nation, Daryl Worley is back with the Silver and Black. Last year's starting cornerback signed with the Raiders this week and took to Instagram to announce that his GPS took him a bit out of the way. Siri had my man in Dallas and in Buffalo for a little bit before he made his way to Vegas from the Bay. Now, there was a bit of a mixed reaction from Raider Nation on the socials. I think you guys need to chill out just a little bit. But with that defensive backfield banged up, bringing in someone with familiarity to the system can't hurt. Starting today, the Raiders have 3 straight home games, and the Mad Raider came through with this edit of Allegiant Stadium for the holidays. And I like the idea. It looks nice, but could you imagine having to put up holiday lights on the Death Star? I don't even do that at home. It's too much work. Coming up after the break, Sam Gordon has the numbers on that Colts secondary, breaking down what Xavier Rhodes and company have in store for the Raiders wideouts. And Heidi and Vinny take a look at Phillip Rivers, a man the Raiders know very well. Keep it locked here on Vegas Nation Game Day. We'll see you soon.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
When you look at the drop passes, that's concentration. It's not talent.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignore.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
NFL Trivia is presented by Attack Law. The best defense is a good offense. The answer is B, league MVPs. Manning was named the NFL's most valuable player 5 times over the course of his career.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Sam Gordon here with Cassie Soto.
Raiders fans out there, we have some swag we want to give away holiday season, and all you have to do is show us how you support the silver and black. It's the Vegas Nation Fantastic Photo Contest. Again, all you have to do is enter is post your photo with the hashtag VNWeek14. The winners are selected each Monday. Sam, let's take a look at some of the photos we received this past week. Here we go.
The mask, representing either way, with the face shield and the mask.
Yep, face shield. He's got the cap there too, it looks like. I love that.
Thorough and safe.
Got a custom sticker here, Raider Nation on the back.
Hey, that's a bad truck. That thing is big.
Black on black. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm about here, Sam. Raiders Christmas decorations.
Frosty the Snowman with the Raider hat. Okay, I see what he's working with. Okay.
I love that. I'm a big fan of Raiders, Christmas decorations. Sam, look at here. I try to get my set together, try to make it look pretty
Cassie,
and festive.
It looks fantastic. The right blend of Raiders and Christmas for the holiday season.
There we go. Love it. Well, Sam, let's go ahead and crunch some numbers. What can you tell us about today's matchup?
Yeah, thanks, Cassie. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr took advantage last week of the NFL's 31st ranked pass defense, throwing for a season-high 381 yards and 3 touchdowns against the New York Jets, including the game-winning 46-yard strike to Henry Ruggs. But Carr is in for a tougher test this afternoon against one of the league's stingiest secondaries. Opposing quarterbacks have compiled a passer rating of 84.4 against the Indianapolis Colts this season. That's the 4th lowest mark in the NFL. They're also tied for 5th in interceptions this season with 13, and they're doing it without an opposing pass rush, as they're tied for 15th with 28 sacks and ranked 24th with 28 quarterback hits. They also only blitz on 18.5% of their defensive plays. That is the 2nd fewest in the league, according to Pro Football Reference, right behind the Raiders, who blitz 20.4% of the time, and ahead of the Chargers, who blitz on a league-low 17.8% of defensive snaps. Credit the play of defensive backs. Veteran Xavier Rhodes is enjoying a resurgent season in Indianapolis, allowing a meager passer rating of 66.2 on 61 targets this season. That mark is the 2nd lowest among cornerbacks targeted at least 61 times, like Rhodes is. Safeties Kari Willis and Julian Blackmon are also stalwarts in coverage for the Colts, allowing passer ratings of 54.4 and 67.2 respectively to rank 2nd and 6th among safeties. However, the Colts have been vulnerable through the air in recent games. They've allowed 276.3 yards the last 3 games, a mark that ranks 27th and provides some semblance of hope for the Raiders as they prepare for a must-win game this afternoon.
Well, Sam, Raiders fullback Alec Ingold got a well-deserved honor from the team this week.
That's right, Cassie. Ingold was named the Raiders nominee for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, which recognizes one player each year for outstanding community service off the field as well as excellence on the field.
Ingold, who was adopted at birth, is working with the Clark County Department of Family Services to raise awareness about the need for foster and adoptive families.
And this year he's also taken part in a training session with Special Olympic athletes. He spearheaded a fundraising effort for 3 Square Food Bank's coronavirus emergency food fund as well.
The winner of the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award will be announced during the week of the Super Bowl. In the meantime, Ingold will wear a decal on his helmet for the rest of the season, designating him as a nominee.
And here's some trivia for you, Cassie. If he wins the award, Ingold will be the second player to get it while wearing the great silver and black. The great George Blanda won it in 1974. Ingold's teammate Jason Witten also won it in 2012 as a member of the Dallas Cowboys.
That's awesome. So great to see what he's doing here in the community locally, Sam. Well, let's go ahead and get some more insights on how the Colts match up against the Raiders. Here are our teammates Heidi Fang and Vinny Bonsignor.
Thank you, team. With your look at this week's opponent, the Indianapolis Colts, it's Heidi Fang and Vinny Bonsignor. Now, Vinny, this is a team where if we look at the offense, there is a familiar face there under center. Phillip Rivers, someone that the Raiders have seen during his time and years in the AFC West. But how do they prepare for him and this offense this week?
Well, it's interesting because Phillip Rivers' presence in Indianapolis has kind of changed what Frank Reich, their head coach, offensive-minded head coach, likes to do, and that's pound the ball, run the ball. But if you look at what their Colts are doing statistically, they're the 10th best passing team in the NFL and the 21st best run team. So it's kind of flipped a little bit in terms of what Frank Reich likes to do, but nevertheless, they're still scoring a lot of points. Here's the thing, Phillip Rivers dealing with a toe injury at this stage of his career. Every little thing hurts and little injury affects how you play. And he's a guy that when you get pressure on him, he has a tendency to make mistakes. It's been throughout his career, including the 6 interceptions he threw against the Raiders last year in the 2 games that they played and the 9 interceptions he's thrown this year. They've done a pretty good job of managing him. That being said, this time of year with wins so paramount, I kind of think that Phillip Rivers might have one of those moments or is susceptible to one of those moments trying to force a ball like he's done a lot of times in his career. And if he does, I think the Raiders will be in pretty good position to make him cough it up and get a key turnover. To do that also, though, the Raiders are going to have to try to get some pressure on Phillip Rivers. But defensively, that's where you kind of wonder about where the Raiders are going to go with all this. It's a bit of a test of wills. The Colts are really good stopping the run. The Raiders want to run because they haven't been able to run these last 3 weeks. They want to get back on track. But to do that, they're going to have to really deal with a very good Colts run team, and they're going to have to stick with it and be committed to it in order for it to turn around.
There you have it from Vinny Bonsignor, our Raiders beat writer. We'll be back with you later in the show. Back to you in the studio.
We are going to take a quick halftime break here on Vegas Nation Game Day, but our fast takes and smart coverage will continue. Ed Graney will tell us which player the Raiders absolutely need to get back into the lineup. Former Raiders running back Napoleon McCallum talks about the team's current rushing attack. And Kevin Cannon gets some gaming lessons at HyperX Esports Arena. We know you won't want to miss that, so don't go anywhere.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
When you look at the drop passes, that's concentration. It's not talent.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who can you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day, presented by Meineke and your local Meineke dealers. When you shop for quality, shop Meineke.
Cassie, it's the holiday season, and that means a lot of shopping, some of which I still have to do, by the way. But you know one thing that never gets returned?
That's right, Sam. It is the Vegas Nation cocktail. I don't think you're going to return a drink from this guy, J.R. Starkus. He is here to share his latest concoction with us.
Welcome back, Raider Nation. J.R. Starkus here with your Week 14 cocktail called Pairs Perfectly. This is going to use Patron Estate Release Tequila, all agave sourced from the Patron Estate, Saint Germain Bartender's Ketchup is what we call it. It is essential on every home bartender's bar. A little bit of pear nectar, lime juice, and honey syrup. We'll start with honey syrup. 1 part honey, 1 part water, 1/4 ounce. We're going to use 3/4 ounces of fresh lime juice, as well as 1 ounce of our pear nectar. We're not using a full ounce or a half ounce or 3/4 ounce of honey syrup because the pear nectar offers a little sweetness, as does the next ingredient, Saint Germain. A lot of people say this tastes like pears anyhow. So we're going to use 3/4 of Saint Germain and 1.5 ounces of the Patron Estate Release Blanco Tequila. All right. So 5 ingredients: 1/4 ounce of honey syrup, 3/4 ounce lime, ounce of the pear, 3/4 ounce of Saint Germain, 1.5 ounces of Patron Estate. We're going to add all these ingredients with ice and give it a nice shake. We are also going to put this over ice in a rocks glass. It's the perfect kind of rocks style cocktail, I believe. Okay, add a little more ice to our shaking tin. All right. We'll give it a nice shake. And we'll strain this over fresh ice in our rocks glass. We don't want this ice to sit there too long, so we got to make sure that we're ready to make the drink when we add ice to the glass. Perfect. On top, our garnish. I took some fresh pear from the store today, dusted it with a little bit of cinnamon, and right on top. And there you have it. Pairs perfectly. Enjoy the game.
Well, Cassie, as we know, Review Journal photographer Kevin Cannon is a man of many talents.
And this week, he put his Madden skills to the test. He took the Vegas Nation truck to the HyperX Esports Arena at the Luxor, and he got some lessons about the ultimate football video game. Let's take a look.
Hi guys, across the street from the actual home of the Raiders, the Vegas Nation truck has brought me to the Luxor, home of the HyperX Esports Arena. I'm going to play some Madden to see if I can bring home a win for the virtual Raiders. We're here with Tom Biola. He's the head producer here in the arena. Now I know I'm putting you on the spot here. You are a Madden expert. Tell me about Madden. Tell me about Madden, NFL, the history, the whole thing.
Well, Madden, of course, it's been around since the late 80s. Named, of course, for John Madden, the guy who was the one who said, hey, we got to put it all together and make a football game. And it actually holds an interesting place in video game history. It was the first game that ever had 22 moving parts on the screen at the same time. And that was because of John himself. Originally, the developer said, look, the processing power on the Apple II, this isn't all that great. We could do 7 on 7. And he said, no, it's got to be real football. And they found a way, and look where we've gone since then.
Tom, are you going to teach me how to play Madden 21?
I'm ready if you are.
I'm ready. Let's do it. Last time I played video games was Nintendo 64, and I saved the princess.
Well, things have improved a tiny bit since then.
Oh, what the? Oh, hang on to the ball.
Oh, fumble already.
Oh my God.
Okay, things are not going well so far.
We cannot have that on Sunday.
No, that is not the start out of the gate that you want.
Okay, 2nd and 10. Okay. Is Gruden not wearing a mask?
I don't think anyone's wearing a mask.
Fine. We're going to score every time you score.
There you go.
So, we got 2 minutes. We got to score a touchdown to beat you.
Yep.
Oh! That's a last second win, just like last week. I wish virtual high five, my friend.
You were worthy
Oh,
of it.
oh my
I think
gosh.
you're ready.
I'm ready to take the field. Victory! Woo! So where are we at here, Tommy?
We're here in the HyperX Hype Tunnel down at the arena. It is the ultimate walkout before all your games. Nothing gets you hyped quite like this. People can come down and play. We are open to the public every day from 4 p.m. to close. We are open at noon on the weekends. Everything's in place. We're cleaning everything on the hour. Every time someone uses a gaming station, it's all getting cleaned up. And every Friday and Saturday night, we have our Fortnite and Mario Kart tournaments, respectively. It's a fun time. People can come down and have a great one.
So if some of our Vegas Nation fans want to come down and play you at Madden, can they do that?
They absolutely can. Hopefully, I'll be better than this game.
He's a great sport. In your face!
Big victory there for Kevin. But even before the Raiders set their sights on Las Vegas, the silver and black had a definite presence here in Southern Nevada.
One example is former Raiders running back Napoleon McCallum. After retiring from football, he came to the Valley and is now the Director of Community Development for the Las Vegas Sands Corporation. This week, McCallum spoke with our own Heidi Fang about head coach John Gruden and current Raiders running back Josh Jacobs.
When we look at what Gruden does with running backs, with fullbacks, you know, he designs great play schemes for that position. What have you made of John Gruden being back here as the head coach of the Raiders?
I think it's awesome. He's a guy with a lot of enthusiasm, and he exhibits that. I mean, I guess it exudes that to the players, and they all want to play for him. I remember when they were first bringing John Gruden back, and to hear some of the guys talk about you know, how they wanted to come back out of retirement and play for him. He's just inspirational. He's done an amazing job with Derek Carr and just the way he thinks on the football field now. So I'm really excited. I think they've got an awesome chance to make the playoffs, and really looking forward to it.
With Josh Jacobs, he's a young stud right now, running back, though he's been injured, and you've seen that struggle that he's had keeping healthy this season. But I wanted to ask what you think about him, because he said he's learned a lot from Marcus Allen, who is somebody that you shared the field with in your time as a Raider. And I just wanted to ask what you think about Marcus Allen's mentorship with Josh Jacobs. Can you see it? Is it evident?
Yeah, I think when I saw Josh first try to dive into the end zone for a touchdown, it was like, oh, that's a little weak. And then I had heard that Marcus was talking to him, and then there was another opportunity for him to dive in. And I said, oh, that's how Marcus dives. And so, and I did not know at the time that Marcus was kind of mentoring him, and but it was evident that he had. And so Marcus, very intelligent running back, and just quick as a cat, and so that's a great person to be mentored by.
We should mention that the Review Journal is owned by the family of Las Vegas Sands chairman and CEO Sheldon Adelson.
Well, with that taken care of, let's go ahead and take a trip across the league, Sam. The Patriots and the Rams met on Thursday for the first time since the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago, and the result was quite different than the last time out.
Yeah, it certainly was, Cassie. That Patriots offense looks a little different without Tom Brady, and that offense has struggled this year. It's been hit or miss, hit or miss. We know Cam Newton can run the ball. We know he's one of the greatest running quarterbacks ever and a former MVP in this league, but he, frankly, is not surrounded by the complement of skill position players that necessitate a good offense, and that's why that offense has struggled so much this year. No receivers, no running backs of note, and for the first time in a long time, it looks like the Patriots will not be winning that AFC East.
Well, it also looks like the New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones will be able to start this week against the Cardinals.
Yeah, for sure. And they were able to go into Seattle last week, Cassie, and get a big win over the Seahawks with Colt McCoy, the veteran backup quarterback. But Daniel Jones, as well as McCoy played, and he did what he needed to do last week. He's not Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has cut down on the turnovers a little bit since his rookie season. He's a dynamic playmaker with his legs, and he gives that offense a little oomph and a little swagger at the quarterback position. And believe it or not, the Giants, after their slow start, are in the mix, in the driver's seat, rather, in that NFC East for that playoff berth. So a huge game this Sunday, this afternoon. We'll see what he has after missing last week.
Still to come on Vegas Nation Game Day, Ed Graney gives us his latest hot takes.
And we'll take another look at social media. We'll be right back.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
When you look at the drop passes, that's concentration. It's not talent.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who you can count on to make a big play when you need one.
Wednesdays, Heidi Bang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Today's replay is sponsored by De Castro Verde Law Group. Our motivation is you.
The Raiders and Colts have met for a total of 16 times during the regular season, with the Silver and Black holding a 9-7 advantage in the series. In the last 5 years, the two teams have met 4 times. This will mark the 3rd consecutive season in which they face each other. As a head coach, John Gruden is 3-3 against the Colts, and quarterback Derek Carr is 1-2 against the team. In the postseason, the teams have met twice and each won 1 game apiece. The first time the two teams met was in the 1971 AFC Championship game. The Colts defeated the Raiders 27-17. From 1973 to 2001, the Raiders had an era of dominance against the team, and the Colts would only win 1 game. The next time the teams met in the playoffs, it would come down to a Raiders win in double overtime. The divisional playoff game was played on Christmas Eve in 1977. John Madden has said that it was one of the most memorable games that he had ever coached. Overtime was set up by a big pass from Ken Stabler to Dave Casper, who had run a deep post route. The game has been dubbed Ghost to the Post by fans. Dave Casper had been nicknamed Ghost after the cartoon Casper the Friendly Ghost. Dave Casper also caught the game-winning touchdown, a 10-yard strike from Ken Stabler to end what would become the 5th longest game ever played in NFL history. That record still stands today. The Raiders, who were the defending Super Bowl champions that year, would advance to the AFC Championship game after that win, where they would lose to the Broncos. And that'll do it for this week's Game Day replay.
Sam Gordon here with Cassie Soto. Cassie, let's get a status check.
Well, first of all, Sam, it looks like Raiders running back Josh Jacobs and safety Jonathan Abram are questionable for this one. What would that mean to play another game without these two?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think the Raiders are going to have to find out. It looks like both those guys are good to go. We know Josh Jacobs is the feature back, the bell cow on that offense, 782 rushing yards, along with the 9 touchdowns. And then we know what Jonathan Abram provides to that secondary. He's a physical, punishing presence that can get down and run support and make big plays, big hits to energize the rest of his team. So it looks like, by all accounts, that those guys are probably going to play. Good news for John Gruden and company.
Very good news. Well, as for the Colts, punter Rigoberto Sanchez is out this week after having surgery last week to remove a cancerous tumor from his body, Sam.
Yeah, some things are bigger than football, and this is one of them. But he took to Instagram last week to announce that his procedure went well. So hopefully he should recover. In the meantime, the Colts signed veteran punter Ryan Allen, so he'll take over the punting duties for this week, hoping for a speedy recovery for Mr. Sanchez. Now, let's turn things over to Ed Grady for his latest hot takes.
Thanks, team. Hey, everyone. Well, just 4 games remain in the regular season, and at 7-5, the Raiders still have every chance to fight for and earn an AFC playoff spot. Now, if the postseason began today, the Raiders would be on the outside looking in, but can possibly change that beginning with today's game against the Colts at Allegiant Stadium. Indianapolis and Miami, who the Raiders host here on December 26th, are 2 teams also battling for playoff position at this point, and victories against both would greatly enhance the Raiders' chances of living for the postseason, which means a few things. The Raiders need to get healthy, and they need to get back running the ball at a successful level. Banged up at key spots for most of the year while also having missed players to COVID-19. The Raiders just aren't talented or deep enough to continue losing bodies and expect to win enough of these games down the stretch. One player the Raiders absolutely need back is right tackle Trent Brown, who has played just 73 snaps this season. Brown has practiced this week and should be ready to go today, and they really do need him. More importantly, the Raiders are at their best when they're running the ball and controlling the clock. Yes, Josh Jacobs missed the Jets game and is battling a bad ankle. But as head coach John Gruden said earlier this week, no matter whose name is getting called in the backfield, they have to do a better job than what we've seen lately. Think about it. During a 3-game win streak against the Browns, Chargers, and Broncos, the Raiders averaged just a shade over 190 yards on the ground. They twice went over 200. In the last 3 games, losses to Kansas City, Atlanta, and the win Sunday against the Jets, they averaged just 67 yards with a high of 89 against the Chiefs. If you can't run, you can't control the clock. If you can't control the clock, what is a suspect defense is on the field way too much week to week. It sounds easy, right? Get healthy, run the ball, but it really isn't. The Raiders haven't been able to shake the injuries, and what has been a makeshift offensive line all season has shown serious lapses of late. But if they can somehow right the ship and get back to running the ball, the potential for a playoff spot is going to appear a lot closer to reality. Run the ball, and the Raiders are contenders. Don't, and the Raiders are pretenders. I'm Ed Graney, and those are my hot takes. Now let's see what's happening across social media.
This social media update is sponsored by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable.
Cassie, we start with the Las Vegas Raiders equipment staff. They're showing us that they are ready for game day at Allegiant Stadium.
Let's go ahead and take a look at it here, Sam. Look at that locker room. That is nice.
First class, Cassie, no doubt about that. Next up, we have Corey McMahon, who is showing both his holiday spirit and his silver and black spirit.
More Christmas decorations? Let's see it. Oh, yeah, there it is. I love the colored lights, Sam. Are you a colored lights or just the classic white lights?
I like the colored lights on the Christmas tree, but just around the house, I'm more of a white lights kind of guy. But they're both good. Okay. I mean, it adds a beautiful touch to the feng shui.
This is very well decorated. I like that a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Unfortunately, Cassie, the Raiders are mourning one of their original members this week. Tom Louderback, a linebacker and offensive lineman who played 2 seasons with the Raiders, passed away on Tuesday. Louderback, a native of Petaluma, California, was the oldest living member of the 1960 team at the time of his passing. He also played with the Eagles and the Bills during his NFL career. The Raiders said in a post this week, the prayers of the entire Raider Nation are with his wife, Sonia, and the Louderback family at this time. Again, thoughts with his family. Very unfortunate news to learn of his passing. 1960, that is a long time ago. Looks like he was with us for quite a while. Sad that he's gone.
Stay on the winning page with Fan Fave Las Vegas Review Journal to receive Vegas Nation content, plus breaking news, local entertainment, and lifestyle coverage. For only 99 cents a week, you'll get home delivery plus unlimited access to LVRJ.com. However you like it, whenever you like it. Award-winning content, all at your fingertips. Subscribe today at mylvrj.com/superfan.
Vegas Nation Blitz is your weekly source for Raiders news.
We're going to stick together, bond together. We're going to make some changes.
Vegas Nation Blitz brings you fast takes and smart coverage.
When you look at the drop passes, that's concentration. It's not talent.
Vegas Nation Blitz, new episodes airing every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Our Vegas Nation podcast keep you up to date with all things Raiders. Get your week going with First and 10 on Mondays featuring Sam Gordon and Vinny Bonsignor.
Who do you count on to make a big play when you need one?
Wednesdays, Heidi Fang brings you in-depth interviews with Raiders players and personalities.
You know it's a great challenge.
On Fridays, get your dose of Raiders talk and musings from Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct.
Should there be any discipline? No. People are going to get it, and that's fine.
Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
The Road Ahead is sponsored by the Richard Harris Law Firm. Just in case. Injured? Call 444-4444.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Game Day. I'm Sam Gordon. Remember, you can read more about this game in a special Vegas Nation Game Day section in today's Review Journal. Ed Graney talks to Raiders kicker Daniel Carlson, who is ready to kick a playoff clincher for the Silver and Black. I tell you how Rodrigo Blankenship and his black spectacles have transformed the Colts kicking game, and we'll look at how the My Cause, My Cleats campaign has gotten a foothold in the NFL. You'll find all that and more in today's Review Journal. It's available on newsstands now, or you can get a subscription started by visiting reviewjournal.com. Now let's get a look at the road ahead with our teammates Heidi Fang, Ed Graney, and Vinny Bonsignor.
Yeah, thanks, team. Everything's tightening up in that AFC playoff race. The standings are neck and neck where some teams are involved, especially the Raiders and that wild card picture. Ed, what do the Raiders need to do to be able to keep that playoff push alive?
It's going to come down to tiebreakers probably for these AFC wildcard spots. They have the tiebreaker head-to-head against the Browns, but let's be honest, they're 2 ahead of the Raiders. I don't think you can even consider them. Now what do you get to? You get to the Indianapolises, you get to the Miamis. Yeah, these head-to-head matchups are going to mean a lot, I think, if these teams are 9-7, Heidi. Now, if they lose today and you tell me they're going to win 3 straight and finish 10-6, then I think they're still okay. But do we really believe that if they lose today, they can win 3 straight? So 10-6 is the number you want. If you can't get there, it's going to be 9-7, and it's going to be these head-to-heads against teams like the Colts and the Dolphins. This is a huge game for that respect.
Thanks, Ed. Now, Vinny, what's your take on what the Raiders need to do to keep their name in that playoff race?
I think the offense is going to be okay. I think with Josh Jacobs coming back and the offensive line getting in order, their run game will get squared away. But to me, I want to see that pass rush improve. It's imperative that they figure out some way, some combination of 8 players in their rotation along the defensive line to create consistent pressure on the quarterback. I think John Gruden threw down the gamut a little bit by saying, look, playing time, your ability to dress on game day is going to come down to how you practice. John Gruden's trying to push some buttons and find the right combinations, and it's going to come down to competition throughout the week. And then for the Raiders, hopefully transfer to the games as well. So if they can get that pass rush game by any means necessary, motivation, using playing time as the carrot to get these guys to play harder and better, then they'll be in a much better position to chase down a playoff spot.
And Vinny, you talk about carrots. I think of those greyhounds chasing the bones on the dog track, and that's where I'm going after is the run game. I think that that's going to be imperative. I think all of these running backs are going to need to stay healthy. They've lost a little bit of consistency in that run game. That's something that they're going to need to reestablish down the line. We know Gruden loves it. That's the Raiders style of football, especially where Gruden is involved, and that'll do for your road ahead. Back to you in the studio.
Cassie Soto joins us once again. Cassie, let's get some final thoughts on the Raiders taking on the Colts. What are you going to be looking for this afternoon?
Yeah, well, I just kind of want to elaborate there on what Heidi Fang just said, getting the run game back. I think it's been since week 10 versus the Broncos that we haven't seen the Raiders eclipse more than 100 yards on the ground, Sam. How big will that be now, having a healthy Josh Jacobs, or I hopefully healthy Josh Jacobs back for today's matchup?
Yeah, Cassie, I think that's crucial. I mean, he is the feature back. He is the every down back. He is the first-round pick in 2019 and was one of the best rookies in the NFL last season. Now, we know he hasn't quite been as productive this year as last year, but that's okay because he still is more than capable of beating you on the ground and through the air. He has 9 touchdowns this season. That is a team high, and I think that offensive line is going to be a little better today, too. I mean, big 77, Trent Brown back in the fold. He practiced all week. And they haven't had him since the Kansas City game, the victory in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium that included, let's not forget, a lap around the bus afterwards on October 11th. So having him back is huge. If Josh Jacobs is back and is 100% or close to it, I think they're going to have a much better chance to establish that run game and let Derek Carr work off of that running game with some play action, getting the ball to Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow and maybe even Henry Ruggs downfield again like we saw on Sunday.
Yeah, well, I think last week Henry Ruggs was saying that his dad was not happy with the performance that he had up until that last-second touchdown. I think that was the best birthday present. It was his dad's birthday. It was the best birthday present he could have given him. Final one here for you, Sam. I've got this question. I know we're talking about safety Jonathan Abram back, but how about Cleveland Ferrell? What are you expecting from him today? I think he had a couple strip sacks, just really some pressure on the quarterback last week. Can we expect to see that again this week? Is he going to attack Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I think he's shown. I mean, we know how great he's been in the run. He's one of the best run defenders in the NFL, one of the best run-stopping defensive linemen, sets that edge, and I think a lot of the other defenders on that Raiders defense work off of him and with the way he disrupts the running game. But that pass rush, that component of his game was a little slower. And like you said, Cassie, we saw it start to manifest last Sunday. And John Gruden was asked this week, is that something we can expect more of going forward? Is this going to turn him around? And, Gruden was cautious. He said, look, you got to put together multiple games of bona fide pass rushing before you become a bona fide pass rusher. But I think it's a great way to start, or a great way to get him going last week, and definitely gives him something to build on. The Colts offensive line, Cassie, one of the best units in the NFL. They invested a lot of money and a lot of draft capital in that line, so I think that's a better unit than the Jets was last week. But nonetheless, I look for Ferrell to be disruptive, if not in the pass game, in the running game, and for the rest of the defense to follow suit. It's a fascinating matchup. Colts 8-4, Raiders 7-5, both with a lot to play for. The Colts still in the mix for that division championship in the AFC South. So I can't wait. The game's in 3 hours. This is a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to being at Allegiant Stadium this afternoon.
It's going to be a good one, Sam. Well, thanks so much for being host today. You did a great job.
Big shoes to fill, Cassie. That is all for this edition of Vegas Nation Game Day. Remember, you can always get more of our fast takes and smart coverage on VegasNation.com. And we will see you on Wednesday for Vegas Nation Blitz on Cox Your View. For the entire Vegas Nation team, I'm Sam Gordon, Cassie Soto. Thank you for watching.